Russ Meyer, le Fellini sauvage, vous offre un film colossal. Fait pour les jeunes comme pour les moins jeunes, pour les snobs comme pour les prolétaires. Un film créé pour divertir, un film plein de vibrations étranges, dures, qui vous tiendra en haleine, et pourtant si drôle dans sa présentation.
I was going with a girl. She was a waitress in a bar. Very voluptuous, beautiful girl, and she said that she had an interview with a guy that made dirty movies. And would I go along to make sure that everything is okay? So I said, sure. So we go down to his office, and Russ Meyer is always like this. He goes, what are you doing here? He said, so you don't bother her. He goes, oh, you want to be in my movie? And I said, sure. Super Vixens probably has grossed $50 million. It was made for probably $250,000. But the interesting about him is he wrote them, he directed, he produced, and he edited and sold it like that himself. He was, you know, all business, all himself. We had to sign a contract that said we would not touch the girls during filming, because he had a theory that if you made love before or during the film, he would lose money. His psychology was to pit you together, and so you were so angry with these women when you went into this thing with them that you act like violent love was being made when actually you really wanted to strangle them, you know? But that's what he got on film. Now, after it was over, it was a different thing, but that was his thing. Never touch the girls while you're working. He said, I made one movie where I let the people all get together and I lost money. Never again, never again.
Super Vixen de Russ Meyer, un exercice cinématographique de grande beauté. 6 des plus belles filles du monde. Ah oui, 6, comme seul Russ Meyer pouvait vous offrir. Les super filles de Russ Meyer, un régal pour vous.
To do a Russ Meyer film was like probably going through basic training in the French Foreign Legion. I'm not kidding you. We went to the desert. We carried our food. We camped out 3 to 4 weeks, and we never came out of that desert until the movie was made. His theory being, if we took the women far enough in the middle of nowhere, they couldn't run off. Because after we had promised them stardom and everything, and they get out in the middle of the desert, then the first thing they do when they take their clothes off is, this is a dirty movie, we're getting out of here. Well, go. Well, where are you going to go when you're in the middle of Death Valley, you know? So they would take off, and they would come back, and then he would go, okay, now we'll make the movie, if everybody settled down. And that's what it was like. You worked from sunup to sundown, and then sleep in a tent. And he set up with a gun at night to make sure no one was, you know, crawling around to the tents, you know. True story, so help me God. I figured this is a little movie I'll make. I'll get some experience acting, and no one will ever see this movie. Well, United Artists picked the movie up in 2,000 theaters. So my mother calls from Kentucky and goes, why are you running around with no clothes on with those women? I said, how did you find out about this? She goes, it's all over the world. I mean, it was one thing to take a woman and a man and take their clothes off and have them make love, you know, but he did it in a different way. He did it with this tremendous amount of energy that he had, and he poured through the lens. I mean, this guy, when he was directing through a lens, was like nuts. I mean, he was so into it, you could not believe it. It was like, go, no, get her now, bite her now, do this, do that, grab her hair, do this. You know, everything was intense. Everything was intense. Until the end of the day, whack, whew, relax. If you analyze those films, they're all a fantasy. He once told me one time, I make movies for guys that are 50 years old that wish this was happening to them. He had a I guess you could call it a fetish about breast. And he used women's breast was his key in the whole thing, coupled with violence. And if you look at the movies, you'll always take an older man, a younger woman, a woman. Put this all together in a clash. Plus the fact he was an excellent cinema photographer. The locations were bizarre, remote, beautiful women against bare rock, brutality. And it just sort of surged ahead of the others. When we're looking in the desert one day for a location for me to kill the chick, where we tire down, and we're in a Jeep, we're driving, nothing. Stop the car! What? There! We bail out and we climb the mountain, and I swear to you, he stood around and he goes, 360. Here we'll make history. Here we'll put a woman down, and we'll abuse this woman beyond abuse. Here I will make history. And I'm going, okay. But that's exactly what he did. Exactly. Out of the movies I did with Russ came Jonathan Demme and Silence of the Lambs in Philadelphia, and I've been working for them ever since. Out of that came the Blues Brothers with John Landis, and etc. And Alfred Hitchcock, of all people, happened to see Super Vixens. He put me under contract to Universal in, I guess, about 1975. So all the things they said don't do, I did. And out of that came, I'm still working, is all it means, really. So Russ helped me a lot. And I think I helped him a lot, too, about $50 million worth, but I'll get it back.